Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Leading Edge Cricket Podcast. It's been a few weeks. We've been through a few rounds. We're about 3 rounds down in the IPL. Some teams have played 4 games when I'm recording this. Some teams have played 3 games. But we're back for the second power ranking that we've done as part of the season. And what a season it's turning out to be. We're seeing some exceptional games of cricket. We're seeing games go to the wire. And we're also seeing the death of the power play. What is going on there? Since 2013, this is the second worst power play average we've seen from batsmen during the 0 to 6 over period. Strike rates are a second low in that period as well, with only 114 for a batsman. And not surprisingly, it's a 7.11 economy rate. That's low. But what we're also seeing is the rise of the death overs. Death overs have got an average of 23.39, a strike rate of 171. You might go, well, that's normal. That is not normal. That's an economy rate of over 10 and over. And only the second time since 2013 that's taken place. A balls per boundary of every 4 balls is going to the boundary in over 16 to 20. Again, that's the highest during this period. The other real takeout you want to know in terms of stats is pace bowling is going a long way. A 140 strike rate against pace and only a 121 strike rate against spin. Spin wins. So at the time of recording this, because by the time this comes out, more games would have been played, KKR find themselves top of the table. Doesn't mean the top in this power rankings, but they find themselves top of the table in a really, really strong position. Won 3, lost 1. Gujarat Titans played 3, won 3. They're second in the table. RCB going pretty strong. Won 3, lost 1. And Lucknow as well, with one of the worst team names going. I've got to be a super giant. Won 3, lost 1 as well. All pretty reasonable. Rajasthan Royals look like everyone's real favourites at the moment, with Josh Butler lighting things up. But then you get to this topsy-turvy world of the IPL, and 2 of the most storied franchises going around since its inception, CSK played 4, lost 4, minus 1.211 net run rate. Mumbai Indians played 4, lost 4, minus 1.18 net run rate. The 2 most storied franchises, the 2 most successful franchises going around find themselves 9th and 10th in the league table, which is quite remarkable. It doesn't mean they're going to finish here, but that's where they are at the moment in recording. And Sunrisers Hyderabad are in 8th, who, let's all be honest, are a pretty average team this year, even went and beat them. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into the power rankings of how teams are really doing and how my rankings look. Number 10, Sunrisers Hyderabad. They were number 10 last time. They're number 10 this time. They played 2 games since the last time we saw you. They got beat by Lucknow Super Giants, scored 157 for 9. Yeah, not quite enough when chasing 169. Beat CSK. Big win. CSK got a lot of problems going on at the moment. Confidence looking really low, but managed to knock off 155 for 2, which was looking like a real danger for this team. Not in terms of that game, but the competition as a whole, because it looked like they were really struggling to score runs. And in fact, it was Abhishek Sharma that went and scored those runs, a man who had been completely missing throughout the tournament so far. And batting needs to improve for this team massively during the competition if they are going to try and push for a qualification place. Rahul Tripathi's looked pretty good, 39 off 15 in the last game. 83 runs at a strike rate of 172 in the competition so far. They need more of that. Washington Sundar, 58 runs at a 207 strike rate. They need more of that. But what they're struggling with is Kane Williamson is not the Kane Williamson we all know, love, appreciate and respect for his ability to score runs no matter what the format. This isn't Kane Williamson looking good. I give him a better performance rating of 55. 100 is IPL league average. He's at a 55 with his performance so far. 50 runs, average of 16, 79 strike rate. Just doesn't look himself. So they need him to step up. Adrian Markram, 69 runs at a strike rate of 125. That's not bad, but you've got to look, where's he batting? He's not scoring fast enough at the death. He's not scoring fast enough in the middle for me, particularly in the middle, where his strike rate is a 71. League average is 100. He scores at a 71. That's way below league average. And with the ball, it's really interesting. We all like Oman Malik. We like the speedy balls. But the fact is, he's not taking wickets. He's going for lots of runs. His balls per boundary is ridiculously poor given the context of the competition he's playing in. That's not good enough. It's really being held together by Natarajan at the top. He's been absolutely brilliant so far in this competition. 6 wickets at an average of 16. Dot ball percentage, 28. A boundary off him every 6.55 balls. An 8.25 economy rate. But what's been really good is the overs he's bowled in the power play have been really solid, a 5.5 economy rate. A lot of work to do for Sunrise if they want to go up the list, but beating CSK is a damn good start. Number 9, CSK. All right. Played 4, lost 4. Not looking great for CSK at the moment, and that's fine because we've seen teams bat bad, play bad, lose games of cricket in the first half of the IPL and go on to great success. Just look at KKR last year under the stewardship of Owen Morgan, not in the IPL this year. They lost to the Knight Riders the last time we met up, and I still had them pretty high in the rankings. But since then, we've seen a pretty poor performance. They scored 210 against Lucknow, still lost the game with 3 balls to go. Couldn't chase down 180 against Punjab and got rolled for 126, smashed. And then could only score 154 against Sunrisers Hyderabad. It's all trending backwards. The bowling's not looking great and the batting definitely is not performing. They tried Devon Conway up top to start with, that didn't work. Gaikwad was incredible last year. This year, he's barely making a mark on the competition. And that's okay, he started slowly in IPL competitions before. But 18 runs at strike rate of 72, an average of 4.5 from 4 games is really letting your team down and putting the team's backs against the wall. Ryudu falls into the same category, only 82 runs at a strike rate of 96. Remember, these guys are batting in the first 6 overs where you've got to score runs fast and your openers are there to chew up the majority of the balls and score well and go big. Moeen Ali's back in the team and he's looking pretty reasonable, probably just above league average, 83 runs at 27, strike rate 140 is looking good. Robin Athatha, 106 runs average of 26, strike rate of 156, starting to look pretty reasonable. Dhoni's not done a great lot since that first game, but Dubé, you've got to be the man to really hold this team together. 157 strike rate has been absolutely incredible. He scored fast in the power play, he scored well in the middle overs. He's looking like a really solid player. What they need is more production from those top 3. They've really got to set the benchmark and allow them to have a decent score. With the ball, Jadeja has been massively underwhelming so far. I give him a performance rating with the ball of 74, 26 below league average. Particularly the middle overs, he has been very, very poor. Really held down by his inability to take wickets. As in 1 wicket from 72 balls at an average of 92 in the middle overs. That's not going to win you many games. It would be great if he could hold it together. His economy rate during that period is 7.67, which is pretty reasonable. But 7.67 is about on league average for the middle overs economy rate. Chowder is definitely not performing. 2 wickets at an average of 60. Deshpande is below league average, way below league average performer. 1 wicket at 63, going for a boundary every 3.8 balls. That's pretty poor. And since Moeen Ali slotted back in, that's not going great either. What is going great? Dwayne Bravo looks really good again. Chris Jordan's a league average IPL player once more. His performance in the power play has been particularly strong. His performance at the death has been particularly strong. The only thing that can make Chris Jordan better at this stage is to take some more wickets. But his economy rate of 8.14 overall is pretty decent. Hasn't done well in the middle overs. He's been smashed around there. But at the start and at the end, it's more of the Chris Jordan that we know and love. Can CSK get better? Yeah, of course. Will they? Yeah, of course. It's just a matter of time. But at the moment, they stink. Number 8, Mumbai Indians. Down from number 5 last time we got together. And is it a surprise? They've played 4, lost 4. They're in the same boat as CSK. They lost to Delhi Capitals in one of the openers. Game 2. Lost to a Joss Butler-inspired Rajasthan Royals. Couldn't knock off 193. Lost to Kolkata Knight Riders. But they didn't just lose to Kolkata Knight Riders. They made 161, and this is one of the problems they've got. They've not scored over 180 in the competition as of yet. And Kolkata Knight Riders knocked it off with 4 overs to go. 24 balls to spare. Like, they could have knocked off 220. And finally, RCB beat them. 9 balls to spare, beat them by 7 wickets. That's a pretty poor performance by Mumbai Indians. But it's not all doom and gloom. Some players are playing very well. Ishan Kishan's playing really good. 175 runs at an average of 58. Strike rate 125, slightly below league average. But he's getting the job done. He's sticking around in a team where not many people are performing that great. Yadav has been absolutely insane. 120 runs, 120 average, a 164 strike rate. His particular advantage here, he's a league average middle over batsman. His performance is literally bang on 100.84, 100's average. That takes into account his strike rate compared to league averages, balls per boundary compared to league average, and those sorts of things. But at the death, that really rises, and that's where they're seeing huge amounts of value from him. 67 runs at a strike rate of 223 during that period, and a boundary less than every third ball. But this is where you've got some problems going on. Rohit Sharma's having a below average performance. Only 80 runs in the competition so far, an average of 20, a strike rate of 125. All those things, other than his balls per boundary, is below league average. Kieran Pollard, not up to league average in terms of runs, average. His strike rate of 130 is slightly above, but not a great performance. The ball in Dewald Bevis, superb. South Africa under-19 captain, striking the ball really well. But aren't you asking a lot of like an 18, 19-year-old lad to come into the team, perform to such a high level in the greatest T20 competition in the world? It's a little bit too much. And the money they spent on Tim David for the return they're getting is slightly abysmal. He's averaging 6.5, 75% less than league average. His strike rate's 118, 12% less than league average, and his balls per boundary is 11, which is 50% worse than league average. That's a lot of money spent on not a lot of return. Okay, with the ball, I've got to start on Bevis getting Kohli out. I'm not saying he's going to give you 4 overs every single game. All I'm saying is that's a good moment for the young lad. Who have we been impressed with? Tymal Mills has been absolutely exceptional. He's taking wickets in the power play, which is we all know how important it is to try and get the opposition 2, 3, 4 down during those first 6 overs. He has been fantastic. 18 balls bowled, 3 wickets thrown into the mixer, a 6.67 average. That's good. That's good cricket. Equally, he's been exceptional at the death as well. 2 wickets and an economy rate of 10. I'll take that. Ashwin has been above league average, 10% better than league average spinner for them, and Undercat is just above as well. Thampi has been very poor during the competition, and I think the big question is Jasprit Bumrah's output hasn't been all that. 3 wickets, an average of 39. His dot ball percentage, 41%. His ball per boundary is 5, which is worse than league average. That's not a Jasprit Bumrah thing to do. And his economy rate of 8.24 is worse than league average. In fact, if you look at his stats overall, there's nothing above league average for a superb player. It's only when you start breaking it down into sections to try and work out what's going on where he's doing pretty well. He bowls at the front where it's pretty hard to do, and he's doing okay. The only problem missing there is he's only taken 1 wicket. His economy rate is absolutely superb. In fact, 50% better than league average. The middle overs are pretty woeful, going at 10s with no wickets. And at the death, 2 wickets at 17.5, economy rate of 10.94. They all just don't quite feel Jasprit Bumrah things, except he's been incredible in the power play. And you're really not getting a lot from Kieran Pollard at all. 42 balls bowled in the competition, 1 wicket, an average of 70, economy rate of 10. Like, what are you trying to fill in? Maybe that's why you're getting Brevis coming in having a bowl. And Sam's, after Pat Cummins gave you a good dressing down, is in a pretty poor position. There's nothing about him that's speaking of an IPL league average player. The only stat that I can find that is league average is his ability to take wickets in the power play, and that's because he's got a rate of 24. 1 wicket every 4 overs. If he bowls 2 overs in the power play a game, that's a wicket every 2 games in the power play. So that is why they are struggling. Number 7. Lucknow. At the time of recording this, Lucknow find themselves 4th in the table, won 3, lost 1, playing some decent cricket. They beat CSK, as we've just spoken about. They knocked off 210 with 3 balls to spare. They beat Sunrisers Hyderabad, which most people were going to do this season. But then they went and beat the impressive Delhi Capitals, who I thought had one of the best teams in the competition. And they did it pretty easy. They restricted them to 149. They won by 6 wickets. They played really good cricket. Why are they so low? That's a good question. I just feel when you get past where teams are at the bottom, there's not a lot early doors to pick between teams, and you might see teams fluctuate pretty abrasively. But what are we seeing from them so far? Badoni's been absolutely wonderful, scoring runs consistently throughout with an average of 51, 102 runs, a strike rate of 156. Quinton de Kock doing Quinton de Kock type things. He's playing absolutely exceptional. He's above average by 10% in the power play. He's got 149 runs overall, strike rate of 135, scores a boundary every 5.4 balls. The thing is, he's batting time, and he's batting pretty good when he gets in, and he's been particularly good balls per boundary towards the back end of the inning. Huda's been impressive, 130 runs at an average strike rate of 136, average of 32. They've not gotten a lot from Evan Lewis so far, only 71 runs, but a strike rate of 142. That's what Evan Lewis does in T20 international cricket. He's one of the highest strike rated players between the last World Cup, 2017 to 2021, might have been 2016 to 2021. And they're doing all this with moderate returns from KL Rahul, who at the moment is below league average. He's actually scoring and hitting boundaries at a lesser rate than league average during the strike rate. But we all know how good he can be when he gets going, and he's got going once and he's done pretty well for himself. With the ball, Jason Holder's been absolutely brilliant. 3 wickets at an average of 21, an economy rate of 8 from the 48 balls he's bowled so far. Of those 48 balls, 24's been in the power play. No wickets during that period. There's a no. What that does mean is that at the death, he has been brilliant. 3 overs, 3 wickets, an average of 5, strike rate of 6, economy rate of 5. That is outstanding. Avesh Khan's been good so far in the competition. 7 wickets at 18, to be fair, is pretty useful. His balls per boundary is at 4, which is worse than league average. His economy rate of 8.82 is worse than league average as well. But he's taking wickets. Wickets can win you games. They've got a pretty decent return from Krunal Pandya so far as well. 3 wickets at 30. And Krunal Pandya going at a ball per boundary every 9.75 balls that's bowled. Now, that is inflated by his wonderful first game performance where he got his brother out, but they're just facts. That's how he's playing in this competition, and you can't pick and choose which games you want to look at. All I'm looking at as a guy is he's bowled 60 balls in the middle of the overs. You know, this is over 7 to over 15 during the competition. He's got a strike rate of 20, a bowling average of 19, 3 wickets, economy rate of 5.7, control. And Gautam and Bishnoi's been pretty good as well. They haven't got a lot from Andrew Tye, and Andrew Tye's a pretty decent cricketer. He's good in the Big Bash. He's been okay in the IPL before. At the moment, not really seeing that. 2 wickets at an average of 53. He's going for a lot of boundaries. So this is probably why I'm not sold on Lucknow being a real top 4, top 5 team at the moment. They're doing well. Maybe they're overperforming. Let me know. Number 6, Punjab Kings. Number 6th in the league table as well. 1-2, lost 2. You've seen some good, you've seen some bad. Beat RCB in that incredible first game with 6 balls to spare, thank you very much. But then we've seen little bits of inconsistency. They got rolled for 137 against KKR. They beat an average CSK team at the moment. And then they lost to Gujarat Titans thanks to 13 not out and 2 sixes off the last 2 balls in the innings. I think it's only the 3rd time ever that has happened in the history of T20 cricket. So it could have been better. It could have been much worse. Why are they a middle-of-the-road team? Rajapaksa's been absolutely insanely good at just hitting a cricket ball. He just literally goes out there and batters it. His average is about league average, but his strike rate of 230 is 70% better than league average, and his balls per boundary, 2.77, is 100% better than league average. So they are getting some good stuff from him. What they would like is to see him bat a few more balls. If you could get 10 extra balls and innings out of this guy, the world really is your oyster. And this is taken into account. He's not even batted at the death yet. He's not even had an opportunity. His runs have come in the power play where he's got 40 runs at a strike rate of 285 and the middle overs where he's got 43 runs at a 195. Liam Livingstone is showing us the best of Liam Livingstone now. After the first game, I was a bit like, oh, come on, Liam, you're better than this, mate. We all know how good Liam Livingstone can be. And we're starting to see it. 162 runs at an average of 40, strike rate of 190, balls per boundary of 3.4. He's hitting 52% better overall performance than batters in the IPL this year, but 100% better than batsmen during the power play. 53 runs, a strike rate of 230, a boundary every 2.56 deliveries. This is absolutely insane, the numbers that he's putting up. And again, just like Rajapaksa, he's doing this without ever batting at the death. He's always out before then. But the damage that he's doing is really setting this team up nicely. They would like a little bit more from Sharma and Darwan, both not having the best IPLs in the world. And Johnny Bairstow, not really played a lot of cricket. I think he's played 1 game, in fact, when I'm doing this ranking. So they've got him to come into the team so they can get better. And because they're already doing pretty good with the bat. With the ball, they've got a few problems going on. Liam Livingstone isn't an IPL league average bowler. No, he's not. He's not quite good enough. He does pick up a wicket, which is great to see, but his average isn't great. and his economy rate is 34% lower than league average. That's a problem. Arshdeep Singh isn't taking wickets, and his economy rate is below league average. That's an issue. Odin Smith, 2 wickets at an average of 70. What's bad about this? His economy rate is 12.73. League average, way off what league average is. And it's the only time it's good for Odin Smith is during the power play, where he's just above a league average bowler during the power play, and he takes wickets. That's important. Bowl him there. Middle overs, terrible. Death, really not working out at all. The real plus points, Chahar is absolutely insane. 7 wickets at an average of 14, a 38% dot ball percentage. Balls per boundary. He goes for a boundary every 16 deliveries. That's absolutely insane. Just to put what that means in context, the best it's ever been for a bowler between 2013 and 2022 is 6.48 balls per boundary. He is over twice as good as that. He's having an absolute world-class performance during this competition, and Rabada does Rabada-type things. Rabada takes wickets. 4 wickets at an average of 21, a bowling strike rate of 15. I'd like to see him perform better at the death, but the thing that you get from him at the death is wickets. He takes wickets at the death, and that is really important. I know he's not played the most games, but 1 wicket in average of 13, economy rate of 13, sure, 13 is high, but when you get through 14 games a season, those wickets that he takes are going to be absolutely invaluable. Remember, he took a hat-trick during the T20 World Cup. Yes, they were all caught on the boundary, but there were 3 dot balls during the 19th over. That's important. Okay, so hear me out on this. I had KKR down the list. I had them in 8th, and I've been really impressed with how they're doing. And just because teams are in these positions they are now, it's maybe not necessarily where they're going to finish. But they have played superbly. They've got the 2nd best net run rate in the competition when I'm recording this. Won 3, lost 1. Beat CSK the last time we did the rankings. That's cool. Lost to RCB in a low-scoring game. Beat Punjab Kings in a low-scoring game, but did it with ease. 14.3 overs to knock off 137. And beat Mumbai Indians, 161 for 4, knocked them off with 4 overs to go. That's good. I could talk myself into a promotion here. And they've done this off the back of some of the most insane performances of all time. Who, probably 1,000 to 1, would have expected Pat Cummins to come out, play that knock, and go and win them the game. What was it? 50 off about 14 balls to win them the game, and win them the game with room to spare. That just doesn't happen. Andre Russell's been actually really good for them with the bat. We see Andre Russell, we know he can score fast, but he's got 106 runs at an average of 53, strike rate of 96. That's incredible. Overall performance rating 70% better than the average IPL player. That's really good. Shreyas Iyer, league average, 69 runs, literally bang on league average. Average of 23, strike rate of 138. Just not seeing a very good performance from him. Sunil Narine, less than average with the bat. And I think this is where I get into it. Venkatesh Iyer, again, not a great performance. 79 runs, average of 26. A strike rate of 101. Opening the batting, 101. This is your chance to make a play, mate. The field's in. Bowlers expect to get battered, and you're just knocking them back. And that's off a pretty, that's 47 runs. 47 runs at a strike rate of 87 in the power play. 87 strike rate. He's not going to cut it for anyone. Rahani's been poor in this competition. 72 runs at an average of 18, a 109 strike rate. 55 runs at a 101 strike rate in the power play. Here's your problem about why you're probably a little bit low on my list. I need to see a little bit more with the bat. You've done some wonderful things with your middle order. Andre Russell, Pat Cummins, that's brilliant. You can't rely on them for 14 games to go and get you these performances time in, time out. I've been impressed with Sam Billings, but his numbers don't quite stack up. Particularly his balls per boundary is a boundary every 10.29 balls. That's not going to cut it. But his average is 26, league average. That's cool. His strike rate 111, below league average. There's only so many times this team can back themselves into a corner and get out of it. And I know they won games with 4 overs to spare. But my point still is relevant. To win the competition, you need to bat better at the top. With the ball, I don't think you can look past Umesh Yadav as possibly being the best bowler in the competition so far. He has been insanely good with that new ball and really, really moves. How good is it to see a white ball moving around? It creates a better contest for me. 9 wickets at an average of 9 in the competition. A boundary ball every 10 balls. That's brilliant. Economy rate of 5.25. Absolutely brilliant. 6 wickets at 8 in the power play. An economy rate of 4.6. That's insane. I'm giving him a 190 power play performance rating, 90% above league average. His middle overs are good. His death overs are good. He's only got 1 over at the death, but he went for 8. That's good. Sunil Narine has been absolutely exceptional. Sure, he's not taken many wickets, only 2 at the competition, an average of 38, but he's bowled the same amount of balls as Yadav. The same amount of balls, except his boundary per ball ratio is every 24 balls. That's once in a 4 over spell. A 4.75 economy rate. It's just insanely good. Tim Southey, we all know how good Tim Southey is at cricket, and he's being good here. 5 wickets at an average of 11. This is why you're winning games. Your bowling attack's outstanding. Economy rate of 6 for Tim Southey. 2 wickets at 20. 2 wickets at 12 in the power play. And they, pretty evenly spacing his bowling out. He'll bowl a couple up front, he'll bowl 1 in the middle, 1 at the death, and it's working out for him. He's bowling great. At the death, he's going at 11s. That's a little high, but middle overs, 4.5. You throw into that, you've got Pat Cummins into your team now, who's not had the greatest performance with the ball so far. You might get a couple of balls from Andre Russell that will be halfway down, but it's a really good team. I just need a little bit more consistency at the top. Number 4, RCB. 3rd in the table, 1-3, lost 1. Plus net run rate of only just a 0.29, but they've won 3 straight. That's pretty good, particularly after Punjab Kings went and knocked off 208. But we've seen good performances. They bowled KKR out for 1-8 and won the game. They limited Rajasthan Royals, who's got a really good team, 169 for 3, and knocked them off with an over to spare. Same against Mumbai. They restricted them to 151 and knocked off 152 in 18.3 overs. And they're doing it through really, really good bowling. Harshal Patel's been brilliant so far. 6 wickets at an average of 14 in the competition. Economy rate 5.5 from 96 balls. That's exceptional. Hasaranga, how good is he against right-handers? Bowling to right-handers 9 times out of 10, LBW. Maybe 9 times out of 10 is a little over the top. But either way, excellent performance. 8 wickets at 15. His economy rate of 7.5 is superb. Balls per boundary of 6.4. And he's doing it at really good times. He's only bowled 1 over in the power play so far. But middle overs, bowling like a dream. 8 wickets at 11. At the death, no wickets, but an economy rate of 6.31. Akash Deep's been okay. And David Willey's been actually pretty decent during the power play. I'll give him his credit here. His balls per boundary is at 10, which is superb. Economy rate 5.9. Just the 1 wicket. But overall, you're building the pressure. They need more out of Mohammad Siraj, who's had a pretty woeful competition so far. But when you've got Patel, you've got Hasaranga, and they're doing good things, you know the other pieces can come together to fill it in. With the bat, they've just got Glenn Maxwell back. That's a good thing. Shahbaz Ahmed's been very good in this competition. 72 runs at a strike rate of 156. Dinesh Karthik. Surely he's everyone's favourite cricketer at the moment. Or just in general. Just Mr. Suave, 97 runs, a strike rate of 210. Getting it done at the death time and time again. Faf du Plessis going okay. He had a really good start. He's kind of ticked off a bit since then. Virat Kohli, 106 runs, average of 35, strike rate 135. Kohli-ish numbers. I'd expect to see better as he goes on. So, especially when he doesn't get run out all these dodgy LBs. But overall, they're a good team. And they're going to be competitive and they're probably going to be around the top. Gujarat Titans, the newbies. Played 3, won 3. Good start, boys. Beat Lucknow the last time we were together, and since then they beat Delhi Capitals, who I'd ranked at number 1, and then they knocked off 189 against Punjab Kings. And this was Tuatia just going absolutely nuts. 2 sixes, last 2 balls, win the game, easy done. And it was an amazing last over. Find themselves 2nd in the table, 3rd on my ranking list, and they're good. I don't think they've been challenged enough to work out how good they can be, but one thing they've got is an absolute outstanding bowling attack. That's where they spent the money. Rashid Khan, 72 balls, 5 wickets, average of 15, strike rate of 14, economy rate 6.5. That's wonderful. Mohammad Shami is absolutely superb. He's taken a shed loads of wickets during the power play, 3 wickets, an average of 17 so far. And Lockie Ferguson has been absolutely brilliant in this competition. 5 wickets at an average of 17, 3 overs in the power play, 3 wickets so far. 2 wickets in the middle, an economy rate of 6.75, which is very useful, and 30 balls at the death, an economy rate of only 8. That is absolutely brilliant. A question would be, what does it look like when your top stars don't work out? Because bowling stars, it doesn't matter who you are in the world. One day you're going to go around the park. Who's going to fill in your overs for you, and how's it going to go, mate? My issue with the team, And I think everyone's issue is, how good you batting? Well, we've seen Shubman Gill be very good so far. 180 runs, an average of 60, strike rate of 166, 54% better batting performance overall than the league average. He is looking absolutely superb. David Miller has been very good as well, scoring at a 140 strike rate. That's what you'd expect from him. But Tawatia has been the star. 67 runs, a 191 strike rate. Sure, he's not got the same amount of runs, but a boundary ball every 3 balls is absolutely incredible. And most of his batting has come at the death. 61 runs at the death, a strike rate of 244, 2.27 balls per boundary is absolutely insane numbers. They do have questions about being able to set scores. Matthew Wade is not a IPL quality opener. He's just been very, very poor in this competition so far. 37 runs at an average of 12, a strike rate of 97, poor, and he's scoring at 100 in the power play. So it's just not good enough. But at the moment, the bowling's carrying them, and it's interesting to see how far the bowling can carry them. Number 2, Rajasthan Royals. Number 5 in the table when I'm recording this, 1-2, lost 1, and a little bit of a darling at the moment. Everyone's into a bit of Rajasthan Royals. And why not? The 3 games that I've got them when I'm recording this is they beat Sunrisers scoring 210. They beat Mumbai Indians scoring 193. And then they went and lost to RCB where they only scored 169. But they're doing it on the back of some really interesting batting. Josh Buttler is 205 runs at an average of 102. A strike rate of 143 is absolutely incredible. And I think the thing about Josh Butler's innings so far is he doesn't look great. He's scratching around at the start. 83 runs at a power play strike rate of 125, a boundary ball every 5 is good. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. It's the middle overs where he's doing the damage, where generally you see teams being able to reel stuff in. 85 runs, an average of 85 and 157 strike rate during that period and a 160 strike rate at the death. Shemron Hetmeyer is actually doing quite well. 109 runs at an average of 54, strike rate of 187. Most of his play coming at the death, 97 runs of it at the death and a 225 strike rate, 2.87 balls per boundary is really doing really, really nicely. And Sanju Samson always looks quality. He's just such a nice player to watch, and he's playing some big innings. My problem being, if Hetmeyer and Butler fails in this team, not quite sure where you're going to be able to get your big scores from. Bowling attack's pretty strong as well, isn't it? Jahal's been superb in the competition. 7 wickets at an average of 9, 5.25 economy rate is superb. He's 124% better than the league average bowler at the moment overall. Trent Bolt's back in their team, 72 balls so far in the competition, only the 5 wickets. But Bolt does give you the ability to bowl at the death, and he's been bowling at the death really well during this competition. He's only bowled the 18 balls, but 2 wickets. You say 18 balls, that's 25% of his balls going on. But average of 19, economy rate of 13. It's okay without being great, but his ability to take a wicket and over could be really useful. And it's not always about your stats, it's what you do for the team during your power play. If you take a wicket with your 6th ball, then the next guy bowling might be bowling at someone fresh. And that makes a really big difference. Siani, league average. Ravi Ashwin, they're not really getting a lot out of. I'm picking a big name here, but 1 wicket at 90, that's not good enough. So I can see why people like them, and I can see why they're near the top of everyone's power rankings and leaderboards. That's absolutely understandable. And that's why they're near the top of mine. But I wouldn't be surprised if they come into a few issues further down the road and you see some more better spread teams of talent start to come to the forefront. And number 1 for a second week running on my list, which is incredible given they've won 1, lost 2 and find themselves 7th in the table, is Delhi Capitals. When I record this, they've only played the 3 games. They beat Mumbai Indians first up. Then they lost to Gujarat Titans. Nothing wrong with that. I've got them ranked really high. The loss against Lucknow, that's probably a little bit disappointing for them. Prithvi Shaw's been Prithvi Shaw. He's an exceptional opener. He scores at an incredible strike rate, 167 overall. He's a brilliant player. Rishabh Pant's been okay without being a world beater in the competition so far. I expect him to get better. They are potentially carrying a couple, but they've got the likes of David Warner coming back into the team. And sure, he's had a slow start, but expect those things to get better. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if you see something better from like a Rovman Powell down the middle order, someone that can go absolutely bonkers. We saw him do it against England in the T20 internationals in the West Indies in January. Expect him to be able to do those sorts of things. Also, Prithvi Shaw, just rolling back, 48% better than the league average in the power play. That's an exceptional looking player. but the bowling's been pretty good as well. And this, they've won one, they've lost two, but I still think they're a good team. The start of the season doesn't define where you're going to finish. No one in life ever finishes the same place that they started. Roman, 3 wickets at 16, that's fine, but his economy rate 6.13 from those 48 balls. That's useful. Lalit Yadav's been good with the ball. Shardul Thakur, Aksa Patel, and Nortje are all going to be better than what they are at the moment. So that's why I think they're going to be a really good bowling team. And that's the power rankings for today. So let me know, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen. Let me know below who you think should be the number one team around and where I've really got it wrong. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Till next time.